Coming up on the NIOA Unloaded Podcast, we catch up with J.E. Wiles. I probably don't know how to word this. It's going to be a little bit controversial.
After this year, something that's going to join me on every hunt is...
As the guide said to us, ASC 4-year-olds fish better than Matthew.
I made a crucial mistake this year, like probably the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
In fairness, it's not like any of us have been caught on the Jumbotron at a Coldplay concert. Well, actually...
Word started getting out about these fish. The biggest one I've heard is in the late 400 kilos estimated.
This podcast is brought to you by the all-new Loophole VX5 HD Gen 2.
Hunters, farmers, sporting shooters, it's time to set your sights. It's time to unload on the podcast made for Aussie shooters with Brad.
For a lesser man, this would be a challenge.
Matt.
Quite frankly, I'm going to win this.
And Keith.
I am pretty much the rabbit-proof fence.
It's the NIOA Unloaded Podcast.
Coming up on the NIOA Unloaded Podcast, we catch up with Joe, also known to the world as J.E. Wiles. From his childhood fishing with his dad on New Zealand's rugged west coast to over a decade of filming wilderness hunts and fishing expeditions, Joe has built one of the most authentic outdoor channels in the Southern Hemisphere. And as a brand ambassador for a variety of different brands, including Loophole Scopes Bradley, he brings raw backcountry action and inspiring storytelling to viewers everywhere. Joe, welcome to the NIOA Unloaded Podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to be here, man.
Mate, I tell you what, first of all, congratulations. I heard there's a new arrival.
There is, mate. There
Mate,
is.
tell us a little bit about this. What's been going on since you've been away?
Oh, so, yeah, I'm a father of a son. So we just had our second child, which is a wee boy.
Big round of applause, please. There we go. Yes, congratulations, mate. Mum doing well?
Yeah, doing good, man.
And
doing
how's Dad doing?
Well, I'm over here in Australia with you guys, so not very good, mate.
And joining me, as always, is my co-host. If you've ever wondered what it'd be like if a chili bin full of New Zealand mince pies sprouted legs and developed a passion for hunting, look no further. A round of applause for Mr. Brad Buffet Johnson. There we go.
Am I allowed to say something now?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought for 2025 you might have found some new content, but obviously not.
No. But mate, how good is it to have J.E. Wiles with us?
Unbelievable.
Hey?
Yeah, no, it's great.
Mate, and listen, you've just been over here for that after show. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. So
Take people through what that's about.
Well, the AFTA show, Australian Fishing Trade Association, I believe is what AFTA stands for. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty much a big event, a big trade show based around fishing. So you can imagine a whole lot of frothers from all over Australia coming together and talking about fishing, looking at products. And it's actually hectic, man.
And it's broken up over two sections, isn't it? It's a dealer day, Thursday, Friday, then public can come in on the Saturday, Sunday. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So it's a 3-day event. They keep the first 2 days for industry only. So, for brands and stuff like that, you can set up your booth and you can showcase your products and all that sort of stuff and basically talk to the industry only. And then on the final day, they let the gates open, man. And it was hectic. Last year was my first time doing it. This year round, double the intensity. It was next level, man. I think they had 7,300 people register, but the event could literally only let 2,500 people in at a time. Oh, wow. So you can imagine the chaos that was involved with that.
So look, first of all, mate, welcome to Australia. Okay. Probably the first question I want to get out, and it's going to be a little bit controversial, all right? And I probably don't know really how to word this properly, but when did you discover that you were a New Zealander?
Well, for most of my life, I thought New Zealand was the only place in the world.
There we go.
Is this podcast going to New Zealand?
I think it is.
Let me say one thing. I made a crucial mistake this year.
Yeah.
Bad, like probably the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And it was on camera. I was sitting in a tent, had an American buddy with me, and here I am talking to camera, and I said, look at this. We've got an American and an Australian in a tent. And then it hit me. I was like, I just called myself an Australian.
Wow.
I had a buddy of mine, Wade Kelly from Flow State Productions, filming it. And he was walking in the tent as I said it. And he's like, dude, I'm not letting you live that down. He's like, yeah, big mistake from me, man.
So, mate, look, you've got an incredible channel on YouTube. How many subscribers you got there on YouTube?
So I've currently got 5 channels, 2 main channels, a main hunting channel, a main fishing channel. Or 6 channels actually. A total number would be somewhere between 500 and 550, maybe 500, 600,000, something like that anyway, collectively across the lot.
Look, mate, what drew you to hunting and fishing and when you were growing up in New Zealand?
Honestly, man, I think I didn't grow up in a hunting family. My dad, so my dad passed away a few years ago, but my dad grew up duck hunting and stuff like that. But I don't think I ever went with him. He took us rabbit shooting and stuff as kids, but big game hunting, that was not something that we would actively doing as a family. I didn't grow up doing that, but as a young kid, my favorite thing to do was I'd literally read the hunting magazines cover to cover, man. And that was like, that was me. That was my excitement. And I remember as a young kid just dreaming of the day when I'm older and I could go and do deer hunting trips, go and hunt the mountains, hunt the wilderness. And home for me is right at the top of New Zealand. So we're about 3 hours north of Auckland. There's no deer up there, but there's minimal deer. There's not meant to be deer, but there's a couple kicking around. Pig hunting, goat hunting, things like that. But most of the main hunting is further south. So from a young northern boy, I'm only dreaming of these big hunting trips that might be lying in my future. So yeah, I think I had, when they in schools, they ask you, what do you want to be when you're older? For me, there was always two answers, and it was I could never decide which one I wanted, but I wanted to be one or the other. And the first one was a high country shepherd. So, horseback, big team of mustering dogs in the mountains, moving animals around, like a proper, basically a New Zealand cowboy. And then the second one was a hunting guide. Okay. And those are I think all my childhood, it was kind of like, that's me. I don't want to be a police officer or a fireman, but that one of those things, if I can get to that level, I made it. I'm happy. Yeah. So, wow. Yeah, I think it just naturally, I sort of was drawn in that direction, man. I can't think of why. It was a sort of a passion that I just couldn't quite get to, if you know what I mean. But it was like I dreamed about it. Yeah.
So take us through those sort of formative years. So you get out of school, you obviously got to have a few odd jobs here and there, but how did that sort of lead, just take us up to what sort of led to making the decision one day, I'm just going to film what I love doing.
Yeah. I always had a passion for cameras and stuff. So Dad, he had cameras and he was taking photos and things like that. So I definitely would have got that from him. And leaving school, during school, part-time jobs as a kid, I did all sorts. I worked in the supermarkets. I worked in some sports shops, fishing and hunting type shops part-time. So I was around it already. I was around that hunting sort of scene. I remember the first big game hunt I went on was a pig hunt, and I was probably like 12 or 13. And that was the first time actually big game hunting, and it was friggin' exciting, man. And, from that point on, like any opportunity I was lucky enough to get, I would just try to make the most of it. So growing up as I get older, I think I was about 18, and there was a course at the local polytechnic, which is like a TAFE or? Yeah, TAFE, like university kind of situation. And the course was professional hunting and pest control. And, mum and dad were pretty supportive and we signed up for it. And it was only a 6-month course or a year course, I can't remember, but basically it took us through all of from the start to finish, like general hunting practices, if you want to make a career out of it in many different aspects, whether it's just pest control, whether it's a professional hunter, like a colour, whether it's a guide or whatever. Like there was quite a few sort of different aspects to this course. And yeah, it was interesting, man. Like we went on deer hunting trips and stuff like that. Lots of field work, rifle work, like how to teach you to be a hunter and like game movements, animal habits, all that sort of stuff. So I'd been deer hunting before that, like over the years before that. So I'd sort of had a taste of deer and proper big game hunting, but that was like the next step of potentially making it into a career.
Yeah. Like that's amazing, isn't it? Like they don't offer that here in Australia.
Well, I was just about to ask you, are you aware of any course in Australia
because we're just doing, my son's in grade 10, so we're just looking through subjects for the next couple of years, what career path he looks through.
Yeah.
And he's a bit like you. I took him pig hunting for the first time at 12 and he's hooked now too. He is just...
Was that out at Roma?
Yeah. He is just unbelievably hooked. Now, if there was a course on that, pest management, professional hunting type of thing, like we'd be signed up, would have been signed up a year ago. But it's just amazing. sort of nuances between the two different countries, isn't it? It's sort of a lot more socially acceptable, I suppose, in New Zealand compared to the public stigma we have here in Australia. Yeah.
I don't know if the course is still running. I don't know how long the course was running for. But
still, it was on offer. It was that's amazing. Yeah.
But what I think's great about something like that too is that no doubt they would have also covered off how to ethically, harvest animals, how to ethically hunt, and that sort of stuff that needs to be really taught.
Oh, 100%, yeah, and that definitely was part of it, and it, even down to like standard pest control. Like I remember there was an older guy in the course, and he had a business, like a commercial pest control business. So the only thing that he wanted to get out of this course was certain qualifications and licenses for certain poisons and stuff like that for controlling mice and rats in an industrial area, that stuff. So it was hunting, but then it was also like the general pest control field as well.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, it was quite a variety, man. Like I remember leaving it, and it was pretty cool. I learned a lot, and the final thing of the whole course was we all got together, and the big send off was we went on a big hunting trip into some a national park in New Zealand, a big deer hunting trip, and there was something to look forward to, and it was kind of like the final thing, and then you get signed off. So
that's unbelievable, hey. Oh man,
different sale. I almost want to move to New Zealand now
just to do the course.
Yeah.
Look, how did you choose the name J.E. Wilds?
So yeah, that's basically I didn't want my full name to just be out there in the public, connected to all this. I don't mind about it, but it's like there's got to be another way. Like there's got to be a stage name or something I can use. Maybe something that's more suited to what I'm doing. It can be almost like a catchy name. So my name's Joe Edlington. So the J.E. stands for Joe Edlington.
Yep.
And then the Wilds piece is just something that sort of connects everything from the hunting and fishing type adventures. It's sort of, in my opinion, it encapsulates all of that. So
yeah. So I mean, if you go to Joe's website, jewilds.com.
Yep.
And you go to it, there's two parts to his website. You've got a hunting part and you've got a fishing part. So what's the difference in focus between the two? And just take us through, different seasons that you're servicing both those kind of channels? Take us through it.
Yeah, so our seasons in New Zealand, I mean, you can hunt all year round, you can go fishing all year round, but the best hunting is generally from that sort of mid-March timeframe through to about, say, July, August. Within that time period, you're getting all the roars, the ruts, all the different, it's the best time for hunting. And then generally from the spring through till summer, the fishing's on fire. So for me, I grew up in Northland right at the top, so fishing is big up there. We're surrounded by beaches. My hometown, how each city's generally got some sort of little catchphrase that they put on the billboards and stuff. Our one is Whangarei, city of 100 beaches. So we've got a lot of beaches nearby, so saltwater fishing it's part of the culture up there. So I grew up fishing, and then obviously as I matured, got into more and more big game hunting. So nowadays it's like the first half of the year while the hunting's pumping, I'm hunting.
Yeah.
And then by the time that's sort of wrapping up, I'm starting to get into the fishing season, and then it just rotates every year. So yeah, half the year hunting, half the year fishing. That's basically how my schedules work.
Well, I was just going to say that some bloke that's been able to work himself into a career where he spends the first half of the year hunting and the second half of the year fishing, I'd say he's got life worked out, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. But, while we're talking about hunting, Joe, it's good because, this is our first real hunting podcast. Hunting guest on our podcast here. So, let's talk about some of your more memorable hunts. We've all got them, but there must be one that sort of just sticks in the back of your mind. Yeah.
There's some good ones, man. There's some really good ones. The first one that comes to mind is actually, it was filmed last year. I did the hunt last year, and I released the videos on my YouTube channel this year. I enjoyed it so much, I decided to make it into a mini series. So historically, what I would do on one of my YouTube episodes, it might be a 10 or a 14-day hunt, but I will break that down into like a half an hour episode or maybe 2 half-an-hour episodes. But you think about it, man, 14 days or so in the mountains in the wilderness, and then you're getting a half an hour episode out of that. A lot of stuff happens.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't make it into the cut. So this hunt that that I'm thinking about was so good. There was so much to it, like roller coaster, so much different little paths and journeys. And I was like, I can't cut this down to half an hour. I have to tell the full story. And mainly like a lot just for me, like I want to, a lot of what I do, I look forward to the day when I'm an old boy, like 80 years old or something like that, and I can relive all these adventures. And so this hunt here, I liked it so much. I was like, I'm going to make this into a mini series. So basically what I did is every 2 days of the hunt was an episode, and I documented everything that happened in those 2 days. And what actually happened on the hunt is I drew a ballot block, which is, you put in, you draw a tag basically, and you get an area to hunt. And so I had this area to hunt, and then I was lucky enough to be able to hunt the period after as well, which made it so I had basically double the time frame I could hunt in here, which was pretty cool.
And you did this all by yourself? No one else? You just dropped in?
All solo, yep. So take a helicopter in, and they drop you off, and then they say, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Hopefully,
yeah. So it's remote. It's wild country. It's a long way from any civilization or anything. It's like it's proper wilderness. And we spoke about this earlier, but like New Zealand, if you guys don't know what New Zealand environment's like, it's literally, you think of the most ruthless and gnarly environment on the planet in a hunting scenario. Like, you often think of Alaska or Canada or places like that. New Zealand is there, man. New Zealand is known as like, it's ruthless, tough, wild place. So yeah, that sort of sets the scene of where I am. I'm in South Westland, which is the southwest part of the South Island of New Zealand, and I call it the jungle. And the helicopter dropped me off basically on a river flat, and surrounding this river was just huge, big forest working up into mountains. And yeah, man, I remember the helicopter flying off, and I was like, here we go, we're doing it. This is exciting. I've been looking forward to this hunt for a very long time. And yeah, pretty much just to fast track what happened is early on, I think it was either the first night or the second morning. I think it was the first night I first got the inkling of there was a big stag. So this is red deer country. And the first night there was a lot of deer moving around, and it's the rut, it's the roar. And yeah, I ended up finding a big stag, like a big wild stag. And I thought, I'm going to spend this entire time working towards getting that one animal. So every day I was seeing, 20 other animals and all sorts of different action, but I was working towards this one goal of this one stag. So yeah, it was cool, man. Like, I think over the progression throughout the time in there, I was setting up trail cameras. Every day I was uncovering like new clues of this one animal. Like, I was figuring them out, and then eventually I'd catch a glimpse of him just before dark or something. And yeah, man, it was such a good hunt to be part of and do. And with the one animal that I was targeting, made it extremely difficult. And I just enjoyed the challenge, man. I really enjoyed the challenge. I ended up getting him on trail cameras, and I managed to sort of like narrow down his core areas where he was hanging out. He was super dominant, so he was sort of holding a lot of the females in the area and keeping all the younger stags at bay, but he was very elusive. He was coming out like just after dark for most of the night, so I was always missing him because, you can't shoot after dark in these areas. And yeah, it was a cool hunt. It was such a cool challenge. And, long story short, I ended up getting him right at the end and documented the whole thing on video. And I released those episodes this year, and there was, I think, 6 episodes. And it's awesome. It was a pretty cool journey, man. Like, the feedback, people really enjoyed that more like lengthy type edit. They loved the journey. They loved me uncovering clues, working towards this one big stag at the end of it, man.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's not for everyone what Joe said, dropping in, saying goodbye to the chopper, 12 days later you're by yourself. I suppose the lucky thing is there's probably nothing there that can eat you. Not like, North America or something like that where you're fending off bears and whatnot too. So, but still, it'd be dangerous in its own right, wouldn't it? You had some close calls?
Yeah, it's country that you can't, you got to be careful in for 100%. Sure. Yeah, it's the real deal. So
I'd expect even the weather to be an issue.
The weather is your biggest enemy. If something's going to get you, it's going to, the weather's going to be it, or a fall or something. That time of year, the sandflies, which are like a little mosquito, they almost take off with you. That's how many there are. But yeah, the weather's pretty unpredictable, and it can change literally in minutes. It can change and get incredibly bad. So,
what do you think the attraction is of? I mean, I know it's what you love doing, and you're doing the video and all that sort of stuff. But at that point where Brad was talking about, where the chopper drops you off, and then disappears, and then there's nothing. It's just you for the next 12, 14 days. How does that play on your mind?
Well, I was going to say, would you ever think of walking out? You'd go, now, just say something happens and I'd have to walk out of here. Not possible, is it?
Oh, it is. No, it is. Well, if you broke your leg, no, it's not possible. But, yeah.
Well, you can hop out of there.
Yeah. But it's, you can walk out. You can walk out in certain areas. A lot of places I go, you can't. Yeah. It's just, you could eventually, but it's, it's going to be a mission. But, there is ways to get out for sure. But where I like to go normally, it's normally pretty deep. It's normally pretty wild, and it's, I try to get away from where someone might be, Yeah.
So what kind of preparation goes into something like that? Because that's not just something you go on a whim Friday afternoon. Yeah, I think I might do this. Tell us a little bit about the planning that, you want to do a 14-day hunt. What does that look like?
Yeah, there's a lot of planning coming up to it, man. A lot, especially if I know exactly where I'm going to be going, and I've, months ahead I'm scanning. There's quite a few different apps and websites that I use leading up to a hunt. But basically what I'm doing is I'm studying terrain, studying maps, even down to like seeing where the sun's going to rise, like you can see 3D maps and you can see where the sunrise location. So I can like decide where I'm going to camp or decide where I think the animal's going to be. The pre-preparation is normally a huge part in it, man. And, often, like I even go down the path of, you've got Google Earth Pro, which is a separate one to the Google Earth most of us will have on our phone. Like Google Earth Pro is a different app altogether.
Yep.
But with that, you can actually roll back and you can see like historical images all the way back to like way back. I think I feel like there might be some 1980s aerial imagery of some locations, so you can go way back sometimes. But yeah, so things like that, I'll like for this hunt we were just talking about, I went through and the historical imagery, I identified what looked like a stag wallow, like a well-used stag wallow. And if you can see it from the satellite imagery, it's going to be pretty solid, it's going to be pretty well used. I rolled back year after year just to see if it was used. And sure enough, there's that same wallow every year, all the way back. So I knew when I'm in there, I'm going to go to that wallow and set up cameras. So that's what I did. That was one of the places I went and put the cameras, and that's where I actually captured the big stag on one of the trail cams. Mm. And I wouldn't have known that was there if I didn't spot it in the pre-planning, So yeah, there's the pre-planning involved with like the hunt itself. There's also the pre-planning of like, weather and all that sort of stuff that comes into play. But then also down to like fitness and getting the body ready for something like that as well. So yeah.
Like for example, if you were to look at Brad right now, how fit ready do you think he'd be to go on a hunt?
Yeah, he'll roll down hills pretty good, but I don't know how he'd get up there. I'm following your lead, mate.
Well, if you want to arm wrestle someone out in the bush, Matt's your man. But I'd do it a little bit smarter. I'd have the chopper drop me off at the top.
Oh, would you?
Yeah, and then work my way down.
Yeah. All I know is if it was just Brad and I left out, I'd be eating Brad.
No, you'd fade away well before me. I'd have you covered.
But listen, one of the things that we talked about, as you produce these videos, you used to have your own camera guy.
Yep.
When you did this, when you first sort of started out, but now you just film it by yourself. You got all the gear and you do your own filming. Like I can only imagine that's just another complexity to the hunt.
Yep.
Not having a camera guy. But do you ever sort of feel that, how do you balance being in the moment with also the camera work and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, that is a big one. I guess I've been filming and photographing hunts and stuff for so long now, it sort of becomes natural. Like I'm not really, I don't have to think about it too hard, if that makes sense. So it doesn't, okay. So on a hunt like that, obviously the main priority is to find the animal and be successful on the hunt. And that's hard enough like the animals I like to target, generally the real old sort of ones are the hardest to find. So, the hunt itself's pretty difficult, but then when you throw in filming and doing all that, it definitely adds a big aspect to it. But I think fortunately I've been doing it long enough now where it's not that it's not that hard. You know what I mean? Like it's longer, it definitely is longer. Like we was talking about it off air before, but like setting up the camera, I got to put the tripod out in a nice scene and I got to go stand in front of the tripod and whatever the scene might be, me pulling up my binos to glass this valley. Then I got to run back and I got to check it. Oh, yeah. Oh, maybe I'll move the camera slightly. I go do it again. Then, oh, yeah, I'm happy with that. Then I move on to the next thing and keep hunting. So it's slow. It's very slow. There's a lot of tripod stuff, a lot of setting up cameras, composing good shots because I want to portray the wilderness as it in its beauty, you know, like it's a special place, man. So I'm always trying to find really good scenery shots and really good angles, good composition in the frames that I'm taking. So yeah, but it's tough. It's tough, but I think, luckily I've got the cameras are sort of second nature to me now.
Yeah, so you're talking about cameras. Let's probably talk about more of your gear you use, your hunting gear. You know, what's your setup rifle-wise, scope-wise? You know, do you have a favourite calibre? You know, what's your go-to calibers now when you hunt?
Yep. So I'm a Weatherby ambassador. My rifles that I'm running at the moment, the Mark V Backcountry 2.0, 7 PRC, titanium action rifles, scopes, Leupold VX6 Gen 2s.
That's a good scope. But actually, while we're just there, I mean, the new VX5 HD Gen 2s have been released. Thoughts?
Very exciting, man.
Yes.
Very exciting. I've got a very soft spot for the VX5. I love the scopes, man. I love the scopes. So to see the Gen 2 roll out.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I think it's gonna definitely fit into my kit, I'm sure. Yeah,
Leupold have done a bang up job on that, haven't they?
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the Leupold optics are amazing. Leupold I love everything about them. I love the quality. I love, the build of them. I love I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. They're just good optics, good quality.
And never let you down.
As a brand too, like they're super supportive of what I do. Leupold stuff, man. Yeah.
Is there a particular game that you enjoy hunting the most, preferred to other? Like, do you enjoy tar versus deer, or like is it all the same?
If I have to pick one, it's always going to be red deer. And the reason for that is I like the places they live, and the places they live are the places I like to go, so the real wild wilderness stuff, that's my sort of cup of tea. I really love the rut, the raw, you can't really beat that, man. So red deer, they are by far my favorite animals to hunt. I like looking for the big old boys that are very hard to find. And man, I that's probably why I sort of structure a lot of my YouTube episodes based around trying to target those guys. Also, I love the mountain stuff, like the high mountain stuff. But if I have to pick one, it's going to be red deer, hands down, man.
So going back to your rifles and whatnot, now 7mm PRC is a fairly new caliber. What were you using prior to the PRC before it came online?
Yeah, I was running a 300 Win Mag as my primary rifle, and that done me bloody well. And some say it's a bit of an overkill, but I don't agree. I sort of think if I've got all my cameras set up, and you can imagine I'm sitting on the side of a mountain, I've finally found this big animal that's taken me 12 days to get it on or whatever. I've set up this camera and that camera and this camera. There's 3 cameras rolling. And then if I'm shooting a lighter caliber or something like that, and there's a chance that it might not be a fatal hit on the spot, that's bad. So 300 Win Mag, that's a big round. So whatever I shoot at, I want it to be successful. So yeah, I'm happy with running those bigger calibers for sure. Yeah. Excited about the PRC though, the 7 PRC.
Yeah, it's only been, that PRC series of cartridges has been added in, probably 5 or 6 years, but 7mm have been the latest one in it. But let's, something that's new this year that they've just released in the US, which I think is gaining a fair bit of exposure there in New Zealand, the 7mm backcountry. Now, I don't know if you've had anything to do with it yet, but there's certainly a lot of interest in it over there, I understand.
Definitely is, yes. So I have no personal experience with it yet. But it interests me. It looks like a nice caliber. It looks like a nice setup. I'm definitely keen to learn more and potentially have a go with one at some point.
For those that don't know, Brad, just give them a little bit of a rundown on what that new cartridge this year, and was only released this year
in January. Yeah, 7mm backcountry. It's designed for your high country hunting, a little bit like exactly what Joe's doing, but to be able to get 3,000 feet per second out of a 20-inch barrel. That's what the cartridge is designed for. So you don't have to carry 26-inch long barrel, heavy guns. You can keep the weight right down if you're climbing up and down, big tall mountains. But look, I think they've only just arrived in Australia. So I haven't heard any first-hand reports yet, but I do know that our colleagues in New Zealand there at NIOA New Zealand have sold a lot of ammo. So it's going to be interesting. It's certainly, steel alloy case.
Yeah.
It's something that
It's impressive. Yeah.
It is,
I'm excited to potentially have a chance at one day. I like the whole aspect of the short barrel stuff because I love a compact rifle. All my stuff's suppressed, but 24-inch barrel is too long in my opinion for my style. So a 20-inch barrel that's a dream, man. If you're getting 3,000 feet per second out of a 20-inch barrel, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, we'll see how it all plays out. But it certainly looks like it's right into New Zealand's wheelhouse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, mate, how big, what sort of weight is the pack that you're taking into one of these hunts? Because I imagine you got your rifle, you got the, everything, you got all the camera gear. No doubt you got to take some sort of food with you, a packet of Sayos or something like that to keep you going. But how much does a pack weigh?
Oh, so the pack, it depends on the trip, but yeah, the pack can weigh anywhere from 20 to 38, 40 kilo. Like we've weighed it in at 40 kilo on one trip, but it's heavy. It's heavy. Like a lot of guys comment, like, why do I carry so much stuff when I'm hunting? They see my videos and I've got this huge pack on, but yeah, man, like if I'm solo in there, I've got to have all the survival gear. Like you say, got to have food. I've got to have all my hunting gear. I've got to have all the camera gear, which is wild. There's one camera's got a big long lens on it. There's the other camera, which is my sort of primary A-roll camera that's capturing all the story and everything. Then I've generally got a GoPro. Then I've generally got a 360 camera. Then I've generally got at least one or two other lenses. And I don't know if you know much about camera gear, but even a lens can be like a couple of kilos of weight. So
see, what we do is we bring Digital Josh along so that he can carry all that. He carries everything. It's really good.
That's good.
Yeah. So well, that's it. But then if I did that, I wouldn't be solo. So
well, he wouldn't. He doesn't say much.
and he never gets on camera, so no one knows he's there.
No one knows he's there. They wouldn't know. Yeah. So, mate, look, that's the hunting side of things, but also the other aspect of what you do is the fishing. And Brad, you love fishing, mate, don't you?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
But what's the craziest sort of fishing adventure you've been on?
So every year I come over here into Australia and I do a few trips. I got some YouTuber friends in North Queensland and all up the East Coast. And yeah, normally once or twice a year we'll get together and do a big collaboration trip. So we've done some pretty cool ones, done some really, really nice trips out chasing GTs and stuff on top water stuff. Mm-hmm. So my fishing content's all based around sort of big, heavy predator fish, like big top water lures, big stick baits, big poppers, heavy gear, like big salt eager reels and stuff like that. And we're targeting those fish that are gnarly and tough and want to rip you off the rocks. And land-based too. A lot of it's all land-based stuff. So we'll either take a boat and it'll drop us off on an island and we'll camp on the island or whatever. Back in New Zealand, I'll use my boat to get to super remote ledges and islands. But a lot of what I do is I get up on the rocks. I like to have my feet on the ground and I like to be able to move around, run up and down and, target those big predators that are difficult to catch. And in New Zealand, it's big kingfish. We get some absolute monsters over there. But then over here in Australia and in the tropics and stuff like that. I did Oman last year. I went to Oman, chasing GTs and I got my largest GT ever, which was weighed at 50 kilo.
Wow.
So yeah, I was pretty stoked with that. But the fishing stuff, man, it's pretty exciting. It's not so much go out in the boat and drop down a stinky bait and catch something. It's we're targeting fish that are trying to pull you into the water sort of thing. That's kind of the goal.
No, that's impressive. I've done a bit of trout fishing in New Zealand, Brad.
Have you?
I have, down in Queenstown. No, I'm serious. I really have.
Mate, I've seen you fish. So that really does bother me. It would have been, you wouldn't have been throwing a fly or anything. It would have been a bait and a pellet or something hanging over the edge.
Mate, we went out with a guide and it was fantastic. Me and the boy, we went out fishing for the day and caught all sorts of stuff, brown trout, rainbow trout. And as they're coming back into Queenstown, there's a restaurant there. You can take all the fish to them and they cook them up for you. And it was a fantastic experience.
Joe, we were up in Northern Territory shooting some geese. We thought we got a spare day. We'll do some fishing, right?
We don't really need to talk about this. Digital Josh, is there something wrong with the tape at the moment?
We need to say this. But look, while he can shoot a shotgun all right, as the guide said to us, he holds a fishing rod like a 4-year-old. He has seen 4-year-olds fish better than Matthew.
Well, I don't do it that often.
No, we can tell.
Hey, how did
Wait, one question. Okay. One more question.
For me?
No, for Joe.
Oh, good.
Popping, throwing big 50-kilo GTs. How do you think Matt would go staying in the boat? Straight over?
Oh,
straight over.
I'd like to say yes, and if that's the case, I want to be filming on the day.
I want to see Matt hook up.
Because the thing is, I'd love to be in a video where finally, right at the end, it goes in memoriam. Matt Williams. So, mate, look, tell us about this mega fish frenzy in the Bay of Islands.
You're talking about the bluefin?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not far from home.
Because you're right up the north, aren't you?
Yep, 3 hours north of Auckland. We're not at the very top, but yeah, we're getting up there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a pretty good bluefin fishery in New Zealand, certain parts all around, North and South Island, but there's been a run of giant northern tuna, and I think they've been around for a lot longer than people realise, but just as of sort of this time last year, word started getting out. There's a few people making videos about these fish and where they are, and it's now a pretty well-known thing. But we're talking some big fish, man. I think the biggest one I've heard is in the late 400 kilos estimated.
Holy!
Yeah, I don't know, that's secondhand knowledge, but
wow.
We were fishing one day and we were land basing, and there was a big launch, a big fishing boat next to us, and they were within casting range of us, and there's a few young frothers on there that watched my videos, and we saw them hook up to a fish, and they backed up on this fish, and they're in a big boat, big sports fishing launch, and they backed up, and next thing you know, they're way out on the horizon, man, and they're still backing up on something. And I said to my buddy who I was with, I said, I bet you they just hooked a big bluefin. Yeah. And they're literally within casting range of us. They're like right on the rock edge,
Wow.
And anyway, we got back into reception later that night, and there was quite a few Instagram stories of them posting and tagging me in, like them videoing me and my buddy fishing. So I messaged him and I was like, did you guys land that bluefin? And he goes, yeah, we did. And it was 297 kilo.
See, he would have been exciting had you hooked him from land there.
Well, that was that was kind of the goal. We were trying to get one land.
You wouldn't have been able to stop him.
Nah,
she was spooled you, gone.
Exactly. Yeah. But I would have had fun trying.
Oh, yeah.
I'd have been dead.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, there's a good fishery, and it seems like the last couple of summers, especially last summer, we've had more pelagics around. We've had more really good yellowfin run. We used to get a lot of yellowfin years ago, and then they just disappeared, whether it was overfishing commercially or there was something that sort of altered their migration paths. But like last year, man, there was yellowfin all over the place. I had yellowfin following my topwater lures into the rocks.
Wow.
We saw multiple yellowfin bust ups all around us, land based. I saw 2 marlin from the rocks last year, including one that was everyone I've talked to estimated it sort of 350 kilo plus, like big black marlin. Got video footage of both of them. So yeah, this last season was a wild one for the fish, man. And
it must be a pretty special place if you can see that from the rocks.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, it's still pretty rare to see, but yeah, we had a lot of occasions last year that I've never had before, and I've been fishing a long time. So if it's like that this year, it's going to be different. This year is going to be a wild one. So
mate, let's talk AOB brands in the back. Getting back into hunting.
Yep.
We sent you a few things like stuff from Corwell, Tipton, Bog, Frankfurt, Arsenal, Wheeler. What are your thoughts about AOB?
Yeah, man, the range of products were really suited. Like I, at that time, as you know, I was breaking into new rifles. So to have the chronograph, to have the table set up, the rest, all that stuff, man, even down to like the Wheeler torque wrenches and stuff like that was super handy, putting that new VX6 loophole on the top of it. So
actually, I got to say, Brad, those Wheeler gunsmithing, that they are extremely popular here.
Fat wrenches
and stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, I've never owned anything like that. I've always just had like the little pack of Allen keys that you might have lying around as like bits and pieces.
The mounts.
Yeah, it's like little bits and pieces that you found here and there. And so to have that like specialized kit that's designed for what I was doing, you know, it had the level, like the barrel levels, the flat scope levels. It had like all of that stuff, man. And it was, it made my process so much quicker. And just before coming over here, I put another Gen 2 VX6 on a new rifle, and I reckon it's the quickest rifle setup I've ever done.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know how all those years, I don't know how I just didn't have a proper setup before. Now that I've got one, I'm like, man, what was I doing?
Yeah. What's the one essential bit of kit that never leaves, you always take it with you?
On a hunt, after this year, something that's going to join me on every hunt is my Springbok from Spartan. I was, to be honest, I was unsure about it when I got the Spartan package because I'm an ambassador for Spartan, as you guys know, and you guys deal with Spartan, don't you? So
good friend of ours, Mr. G.
Mr. G, g'day, Mr. G.
Yeah, g'day, Mr. G. Yeah. So I carried it with me on all the hunts this year, and it was easy because it's slotted down in a little pouch that's in my hunting pack. So I always had it with me. I remember I got to this one point and I had this big stag that I'd been trying to get, and I was sort of set up on him, and the bipod was too short. I was sitting in the scrub and I was like, if only I could get higher. And normally in the past, I would get my backpack and I'd prop it upright and I'd set the rifle on top, and it would just give me that, a meter's worth of elevation or something. And all of a sudden I was like, I got that blooming Springbok thing, never used it. And I thought, I'll try it. Put it on, just as you know, plugs into the rifle, easy
Rare
as.
earth magnet.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And, the legs are all fully adjustable and they're super flexible. I was on some pretty uneven terrain. The legs, I adjusted them and they just propped up. And all of a sudden, I am incredibly stable. My bum's on the ground. I've got my elbows resting on my knees, and then the bipod's holding the rifle up. And I was incredibly stable. I shot this big stag, and then from that point on, I was like, this thing is a game changer.
Yeah.
The amount of times over the years that I haven't been able to take a shot because I'm in amongst the scrub or the bushes are too tall, there's no rocks, or I just can't get the bipod high enough. And, I don't want to do a freestanding shot. If I'd had this, I said this to Mr. G, I said, if I had this thing years ago, it would have changed the way I hunted, man. So that there, although it's a small item and things like that, that there is a game changer in my opinion. Yeah. And this year already I've shot 2 monster stags with it in the wilderness, and it's valuable for me, man. Like it's changed the way I hunt.
Well, as Mr. G would say, it's like Lego for the shooter. I can just see Mr. G, use the Springbok, J.E. Wiles, use the Springbok.
Yeah. He was probably saying that, man, I'll tell you. Yeah. Hopefully I beat him in the rifle shooting thing, but we'll find out later.
Well, hang on.
He was our leader.
Maybe this is a good point to start. Maybe we need to get down into the range. What do you think? We take.
I think we should.
Let's not muck about. Let's take J.E. Wiles down to the range and let's see if he can beat Mr. G. Are you ready?
I'm ready, man. Let's go.
Here we go, and your time starts now. Ten seconds. 15 seconds. 20 seconds. 30 seconds. 10 40 seconds. $50 seconds. 55. Time.
How many shots did I get? I didn't get them all out.
We got one left. The first person ever or not. You got one left.
What does that mean?
That's a 10-second penalty. That's a 10-point penalty or something.
Something like that. I think.
Oh, you should have told me that at the start.
We're making this up as we go.
It's never happened before. But anyway.
So look, we're back. Brad, Keith has. Look, we've got to be honest here. This is the first time that someone hasn't shot all 10 shots in the 1 minute.
Okay.
Right, Jay Wilds, you let us down a little bit.
Defense on my behalf.
I
I was not told that they all need to go off.
That is true. You didn't really stipulate the rules.
Well, maybe if someone watched our podcast, he'd understand it. But anyway, at the end of the day, so there is a 5 millimeter penalty. We've decided there's a 5 millimeter penalty because you only shot 9, you didn't shoot 10.
Right.
Can you hand me that? He did very well, the boy. In fact, he shot 33.69 mil, but he gets a 5 millimeter penalty, which takes him to 38.69.
Wow.
Now, our best shooter for the 60-second challenge is Mr. G. All right. And Mr. G shot 38.9. So
even with the 5 mil penalty, Joe claims that
Joe won.
He's on top of the podium.
Even with the 5 mil penalty. So all I can say is, Mr. G, pick your act up. All right.
Wait, so I won?
You won, mate.
You
You
won.
won. Even with the 5 millimeter penalty.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, mate, you can hang on to that. We'll take a photo of that because Mr. G will probably want to redraw. He'll want a rematch. He'll want a rematch. So
what do I get for winning?
just the prestige. And maybe dinner tonight.
Yeah, we might buy dinner tonight. How's that sound? Look, mate, how do you approach ethical hunting and all that sort of stuff on camera?
Yeah, this ethical hunting's a big one for me. Like if anyone's watching any of my videos, you'll know how I'm trying to sort of portray hunting with respect and all that sort of stuff with what I do. For me, the first point to talk about is I don't go out there and try and shoot every animal I see just so I can say, oh yeah, I went out the back and shot 30 deer, Like I could do a whole 16-day hunt like we talked about before and just shoot one animal. That's fine by me. That's how I like to operate. So with my videos and the audience that watch it and, like my YouTube, my hunting channel alone has just ticked over 50 million views. So there's a fair few eyeballs watching what I do. And I really want to just sort of hammering home, just be respectful, man. Like these animals, they're out there doing their thing, and we've got to hunt with a bit of respect. And at home, we survive off wild game and stuff like that. Like we don't really buy meat. The only meat we buy is chicken and a bit of bacon here and there. So venison's a pretty staple food for me and my family. And if I can sort of inspire people to be respectful, and there's definitely times and places where animals need to be managed for sure. That needs to happen. But yeah, hunt with respect. I'm not someone to go and take a risky shot just to slow an animal down. Like that's not my style. And if I can sort of portray that in my videos, that makes me sleep at night,
Yeah, no, it's important. I guess in terms of like the creative process and, the whole putting the videos together, the influencer, could you take us through sort of like the timeline of how it's sort of built up for you? For obviously one day you thought to yourself, you know what, I'm going to film what I do and put it up. But where did you see yourself actually start to gain a bit of notoriety and traction in terms of what you do?
Yeah, so it probably starts way back. I think 2007, I got my first camera, and back then they were the video cameras. You put the little cassette tape in the side,
mini DVs.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's what I was rolling back then. And I used to film all my adventures, all my pig hunting adventures back in those days. And I started my YouTube channel in 2010, and I was just documenting my hunts, and I'd go and film a hunt and I'd upload it, and it started to get a bit of traction back then. And as I progressed and got more experience with making films and doing stuff like that, it sort of progressed from being a rough vlog to something that's a little bit more watchable, I guess, more of a storyline to it. And then I was a hunting guide as well. So I was also filming a lot of hunts. We specialized in American hunters. They'd come over and hunt with us for deer and stuff like that. I would also be filming their hunts at times or photographing their hunts at least. So I was always sort of surrounded by that camera work in the hunting scene. And then, I remember COVID turned up, shut the tourism industry overnight. You know, there was all of a sudden, you know, the borders are closed, no flights. We don't need to go into it, but you know what happened. And I'm left all of a sudden like, what am I going to do? I don't have a trade. I'm not a builder. I'm not a sparky. You know, I'm not an electrician. What am I going to do? And I was familiar with cameras and creating stories and videos and things like that. And I guess I was lucky enough to have a few friends that were already established YouTubers here in Australia.
Oh, okay. Yep.
They were full-time already creating fishing content. And it was kind of just like, over the years, they'd been telling me, get into YouTube, just do it. And I was always happy as a guide, but, you know, guiding people on the hunts. But all of a sudden it's like, now I've got no excuse, you know, like this is probably the chance for me to give this a crack. So yeah, COVID hit, and next thing you know, I'm filming my hunts and putting them together a little bit more polished and nicer and getting them out there. And honestly, man, they got traction really good and started to gain momentum. And then the following year, 2021, I was at the crossroads of doing a TV show or just keeping it online. And I'm glad I decided to keep it online, because now TV is basically, you know, there's nothing to it. So online was the future, and I could luckily see that back then. And I had some pretty good backing from some brands that I'd already built relationships with over the years. So all of a sudden I got some funding to actually go out and do a full-time show. And that was year number 1, man. And now we're still going. It's year number 6, coming into year number 6. So been doing it a while, like a decent amount of time now, full time. And I wouldn't look back, man. Like, I think I've had many opportunities to go and do other stuff now that, you know, tourism's back up and running, but I really enjoy my own adventures. You know,
is that that job calling you back at the supermarket to pack some bags or something?
Mate, they wanted me back. They said they'd even give me $1 pay rise. No. But no, why would I? Yeah, I got to the point. Like I had a couple of companies wanting to. They basically put some pretty hefty offers on the table. Yeah, and I was kind of like, well, you know, that's peace of mind. That's a solid sort of salary type thing and safe, you know. But man, I'm doing my own adventures, sharing it with the world on my own schedule, my own time frame, and I was like, why would I give this up? Yeah. So I'm still doing it, man. And
look, I've talked to a lot of people, and especially the young kids and stuff like that, still at school, and you know, a lot of them, they want to see it influencing as a profession, you know, and doing that sort of stuff. But
that's because I think it's easy.
I know. I think they feel that it's easy, but there's an incredible amount of work. I mean, even on the work that we do here in terms of our production and side of things, you know, we've got Digital Josh and a lot of other people helping create that. You're doing that yourself. I can only imagine the amount of work that you've got to do, because it's not just videoing, it's editing, it's relationships with suppliers, it's all sorts of things. And can you maybe go into that a little bit to talk about what being an influencer is and the workload that's associated with it?
Yep. First of all, I hate the term influencer. Yeah. But that's basically, at the end of the day, that's what you are to some degree. So I saw I saw a story, like an article about, I think it was an American-based article, but it was the most number one wanted job now in, you know, preschool and school and stuff, when the kids are asked, what do you want to be when you're older? The main thing is, I want to be a YouTuber. You know, that's what people want to be. So you're right. People want to be a YouTuber or some sort of influencer or creator, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, man, there's a lot that goes on. Like, it's outside of creating the content, and the content is, you know, it's no easy feat in itself. I've had to learn how to manage partnerships, you know, with suppliers. I guess
Because there's contracts and everything associated with those as well, isn't there?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Because, you partner up with a brand, and especially if the brand's sort of helping fund the show, there's certain things they're going to want to get in return. So there's all the, there's deliverables, there's all these sort of things. So I guess early on, like, it was probably quite good that one of my jobs, I did multiple stints in different shooting and fishing and hunting type shops. So I got the sort of my head around marketing and brands and like that sort of stuff. So that helped me in the future because I realized, okay, I get what's important from a brand's perspective. And I get, now that I'm a creator, I get how I can implement that into my content to benefit that brand. If we talk about like Loopold, for example, often I'm getting pre-production products before they are even announced. So I get to go hunting and test them, field test them, all sorts of stuff like that. So,
which is pretty exciting.
oh mate, it's bloody exciting. Yeah. So most of the time you're not allowed to talk about that. I can't tell anyone I've got this.
There's like an embargo on the,
But it's, it's good. It's good. I actually really enjoy that product side of it, especially the prototyping. Yeah. So, I've had to learn all this. You can't get taught this sort of stuff. It's stuff I've learned over the years, but it's, if for any kids out there that are listening to this or young people that are wanting, even anyone that wants to get into this, like there's a lot more to it than just going out and making a video. But the best piece of advice I could give you would be to get out and just start making videos and just keep going and figure out if you actually like to create the stories. Because for me, a big passion and a big part of why I do it is because I love the video side of it. I love going out there with the plan of creating a good video to share with the masses, I would and people that know me know this, like it happened this year on one of the videos this year, huge, big wild stag coming in. I didn't shoot the stag because I couldn't get the camera above the scrub to get on him. But that's kind of me. If the camera's not on it, I'm not going to shoot it. Like I want to film the whole thing. And if it's not on video, I'm not doing it. So yeah, you've also got to get used to that side of it, that you're out there to make a video of your hunt. You're not out there to do a hunt and maybe video. If you're going to go all in, the video needs to be the priority. So yeah, that's, people need to realize that. They need to realize there's a lot that goes on, man.
Yeah. And look, I guess social media, and you see it all the time, but social media can be, especially around the comments and things like that, it can be quite harsh at times. They can be, encouraging and whatever, but there's also a lot of, Brad and I've also had our fair share of, the
criticism,
mainly more Brad really, but on the,
I don't know about that.
On the critical side. But how do you handle criticism? How do you handle that part of, the not so nice part of social media? Yeah,
everyone's always got something to say, is what I've learned. And, that you hear the term keyboard warrior. Mm-hmm. That's someone that's, happy to comment some negativity towards what you're doing behind a keyboard, behind a computer screen. I've grown tough skin over the years, so I can brush that sort of off. But I remember in the early days, I definitely was affected by a negative comment. And the problem with the human mind is that we take in all the good comments, but if we get one bad one, that's the one that sticks with us, and it can literally ruin your day, man. I've had it ruin my day many days. But now I just think that, all the people that are negatively commenting on what I'm doing, given the chance to do what I do, I'd imagine they'd jump at it. If they could live their life, living their own dreams, doing what they want to do, if they had that opportunity, they'd be doing it, man. So I always remember that. But, yeah, you just got to remember that it's easier to say something bad to someone when you're not right in front of them.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Which,
in fairness, it's not like any of us have been caught on the Jumbotron at a Coldplay concert or anything like that. Well, actually, no, Brad has, but he didn't get posted to social media. So. But look, mate, what big projects or trips are planned? Can you talk about that? What's coming up for the rest of 2025?
Yep. I can talk about some of them. As soon as I get back to New Zealand, I've got about 5 days at home, and then I've got a big hunt coming up. So that's exciting. Big mountain hunt. And then there'll be a day in between a second hunt, another big hunt. And then I'll sort of finish that off with there's actually a hunting and fishing store down there that's getting me in for a seminar. So they're going to have a whole bunch of people there and I'll go up and talk about something. I'll make it up as I go. I don't know.
Hunting probably.
Yeah,
maybe some fishing.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe,
so
exactly.
so that's kind of on the cards. There's another store actually the day after that that's having a birthday event for a new big opening. They want me to get down there, but there's all these things that's on the cards. But I've got to remember I've also got a 6-week-old son.
Here we go. Here we
So
go.
I've had to really focus on.
You have to put the effort in there.
Yeah, being present with the family as well as a major one. So, yeah, my wife's Australian, and normally this time of year we when I finish my hunting season in New Zealand, we normally pack up and we go and stay with her parents for a couple of months, and then I travel around Australia filming stuff. But this time around with our newborn son, we're going to stay home. So we've got 2 kids. We've got a 2.5-year-old daughter and now a 6-week-old son. So I've just got to remember that although my job takes me all over the world doing all sorts of stuff and I'm spending a lot of time away from home, I've got to be pretty present. I've got to make sure when I'm home, you know? So yeah, those hunting trips are the last ones for the season. And then once I've got those sort of locked away and done, I'll be starting to get into the fishing. And the fishing's easier because it's at home. I don't have to travel far. I don't have to be gone for months like I would be when I'm in the peak of the hunting season. So I can be gone for a few days, come back, spend a few days with the family, and then go for another trip. You know, it's a bit more easier.
Well, folks, J.E. Wilds, you got to check out his website, jewilds.com. You can check out both the hunting side and the fishing side. Please get online. Make sure you visit YouTube. Type in just J.E. Wilds into YouTube.
That's right. If they search J.E. Wilds, it'll most likely come up with all of the channels, especially the 2 big ones. Yeah.
Make sure you check out all the hunting adventures that Joe's been a part of. And Joe, I think there's just nothing left to say, but thank you for being part of the NIOA Unloaded podcast.
Thanks for having me.